What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So banlist season is here. The Colossus hype is here once again. Don't miss out. We're getting our Thunder Dragon playmats. It is up on the screen. Feel free to check it out. But today we're here to cover Superheavy Samurai counter guide. We're going to go over a deck list, replay, some hand trapping guide, going second, going first, and without further ado, let's jump right on into it. So here is just a sample deck list of Superheavy Samurai and what you can expect. You can see right here they have about 22 engine cards in their main deck. The 3 Wayakashi, the new one, 2 Big Banky being one of the new ones, triple bike, 1 spy, and 1 soul Gaia booster. These are the newer cards that they're getting. The deck's pretty explosive. We'll just get into the combo before we kind of talk too much about the engine that is. However, you can also see they do have room for about 18 going second cards. That's crazy. They can tech in things like Archfiend Eccentric. They can play, you know, Fenrir, Droll, Ash, which are all very good right now. Ghost Ogre, very good. Nibiru can be good at times, especially when paired up with another hand trap, and when you have 18 of them, that's very likely. Gamma you can expect to see in pretty much every one of these deck lists. They don't play spells and traps though, so that is something that can definitely benefit from or for you. Extra deck, the synchro package of Acel, Stardust, and Baron, also with a board load Savage Dragon potentially. Baguska, because if they get Shifter, they can just go Baguska pass. Gear Gigant X, because it searches out their Therion King Regulus mid combo. Merrymaker, Sargus also can search it out. The Gigant can not search out Therion, by the way. It searches out their extender pieces. The Merrymaker, Sargus is where they search out their Therion Regulus, also a Zeus, because Zeus is just very, very strong. 2 Scareclaw, 1 Ballista, 1 Cleafort Genius. Another way they can search out Therion, or they can search out a Kaiju if they're playing like the Jizukiru Kaiju. They can grab him that way. 1 Ossa and 1 Appaloosa. So again, the deck has so much room for going second cards, which means even if you hand trap them and stop them, they likely open 1 to 2 hand traps, and you're going to have to play through those 2 hand traps. On the bright side, if it's Gamma and they have a monster on board, that means it is dead. So if you can get them to end with a monster on board, it will be much better than if not, because then they have 4 more cards in deck that do nothing. Ghost Mourner might also be Veiler on some lists. Fenrir I've seen on some, not on others. This is just a sample list that we pulled. But let's jump on into the combo now that we kind of see how their decks are laid out. So this is going to be the standard 1 card combo where we go for 6 negates and draw 2. The deck can do other things such as the FTK. However, I don't really expect the FTK to be super popular. You may see it here or there, especially at locals, but in the grand scheme of things, I think people are just going to go for the break my board, build a board type deck that the deck is very well capable of. Additionally, they can go for things like Naturia Exterio. They may side deck, or potentially, but I doubt it, main deck Spell Canceller and go into a Saryuja route if they wish and summon out that Spell Canceller on top of having a Baron or potentially another negate. So we're just going to get on into the draw to 6 negate board, which is bike plus a discard. So we're going to go bike effect, go ahead, grab Wayakashi, and then they're going to Wayakashi effect, and I would not ogre here, because if you ogre right here and you get met by, say, a Gamma, then they're going to negate the ogre. They go Gamma Driver, then they can go Acel, bring back Gamma, and then they can go Acel and Gamma into a Baron, and then they have a negate. So now your ogre did nothing, and if you have another hand trap, it's not going to do anything. Instead, you wait for them to summon and then set up their Big Banky. Then Big Banky effect. Now here you ogre, because it cuts off access to Soul Piercemaker and it gets rid of a scale for their Pendulum Summon. So not only would they not have this in hand, obviously they'd have 3 more, so they'd have 4 cards in hand. They need 1 as a discard, so they essentially have 3 usable cards, but they need to get to Soul Piercer, and another copy of Big Banky, otherwise they're not going to be able to play their whole board. So definitely ogre the Big Banky here, or negate it, or negate and destroy on the Big Banky if you went first and you have it. This is a very big interaction point that you can stop them. Then we're going to go ahead and summon the Soul Piercer once again off our Scarecrow. That's why we needed our discard. Being able to interact with that also can be alright, but depending on their hand, they'll play through it a little easier. But you're going to have to remember they will also have a Baron up at this point coming soon, depending what you're playing in your deck as far as removal from graveyard. Getting the Piercer out early, it would be very good, or additionally getting that Samurai Bite gone like at this point would also be very strong. So far the biggest choke points though we saw with the Big Banky and also the Scarecrow after they discard to not get that summon of Soul Piercer back is pretty big. So effects 1, 2, 3, set up our scale, search out our spy, summon out our bike. Now like I said, we go into Baron, Peacemaker, attach, Peacemaker pop, then we summon scales, summon Piercer because we're going to abuse this card so many times, Ballista Piercer, go search bike, go search box, search tunneler. That's going to be our draw 2 engine. Then we can summon, go into Cleafort. Now that we have Cleafort up, Pendulum Summon, and then since we summoned to both zones, we can go ahead and search out our Therion King Regulus, make an Appaloosa, summon out, attach the Soul Piercer, pop the Soul Piercer effect, search the mask, equip the mask, summon the mask, modulate our level, and go into a Borreload Savage Dragon. So we kind of showed a couple of the little choke points here, but then again, the put back 5, draw 2, and you end with 5 cards in hand, 6 negates on your board. 4 different monsters too, by the way, not just like 4 negates on Appaloosa, because I've seen that before. Like they'll have like Savage Appaloosa and they'll be like, oh, 5 negates. It's like, I mean, technically yes, but like it's 2 interactions, because like Appaloosa, especially once it gets to 1600, can get beat over, so maybe this is 4 negates more realistically and waste their battle phase or something like that. But that's kind of the gist of their, what I expect to be the main combo line. Went over a deck list slightly and talked about some of their weaker choke points. Now let's go ahead and get into a full-on hand trap, what to hit, where to hit it. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Peacemaker is a good spot to do it if you can, but we just saw that they often put up a Baron de Fleur before that, so you may have to go for the Soul Piercer and just hope they don't have the right extenders in hand. But if you're in a grindy game, I like hitting the Peacemaker. Otherwise, if say you're going to drop Droll and Lockbird on them, keep in mind with Droll, which is very good versus them. We'll talk about it right now. Droll is very good versus them. You saw how much they add to their hand. However, if you do it, like say on their very first ad, if they don't have a monster on board, you're playing right into that Gamma, and I don't think I would do it unless I have Ash in hand. But if I do have Ash in hand, I'm going to Droll them right away. If they Gamma me, I will Ash it, because that Gamma is going to be dead afterwards, because, well, guess what? They're going to have monsters on board, so you don't have to worry about that. However, if you if you Droll, they Gamma, you don't Ash, they're going to have a Baron for your Ash anyway. So now your Droll did not resolve, kind of like the whole Ogre on Wayakashi. You know, you play into that Gamma, and then your next hand trap is dead because that Gamma turns into a Baron before they continue playing their actual combo. So you really do need to stop that Gamma from hitting the board, otherwise they're going to have a negate and they will stop your next hand trap. Ghost Ogre, like I said, Big Banky, unless you're like in a really grindy game, I guess you could hit something like Prodigy, but Big Banky, definitely the best Ogre target. Ghost Bell, even Scarecrow with Ogre, because discard it has to summon to the arrow, so if you Ghost Ogre it, they won't get the summon off Scarecrow, and they lose the body of Scarecrow, so I'd say Scarecrow is the second best Ogre target. Ghost Bell hitting the Scarecrow effect so they don't get that free summon. Ghost Mourner hitting the Scarecrow. Veiler or Imperm hitting the Scarecrow. It's a discard for cost effect, and you negate it, which just obviously makes them not gain that advantage. Gamma, where do I like Gamma? I would use it on, I have Prodigy put here, but we actually didn't use Prodigy's monster effect, so Gamma there actually a bit redundant. You're not going to be able to use it because we used the Pendulum effect more often. So instead of Prodigy, definitely hit that Scareclaw. If they do summon out the Prodigy and use the effect immediately, I would feel free to Gamma it. But otherwise, again, Scarecrow is going to be that big point. Scarecrow and Big Banky, to me, are probably their two biggest choke points. So hitting those two with, if you go first and set up your engine negates, those are the two cards I would definitely go after, especially if it's negate and destroy, or even destroy, because a continuous spell and a summon to zone both require to stay on the field. So if you can destroy it, remove it, bounce it, spin it, whatever, that will be good overall. Skullmeister on Soul Piercer, because that just gets them a free ad. We said Droll is very good in the matchup. Nibiru, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, Nibiru is so good. I struggle to agree with that. Sometimes a good time Nibiru can be, but I've found with all their extenders a lot of time Nibiru falls flat and they still end up doing a pretty decent board. If you're main decking Nibiru, by all means. Personally, I just don't think it's amazing in the matchup. Dimensional Shifter, however, like Droll, is actually very good. The Pendulums will get banished, and all the materials that they're linking will, Soul Piercer will, things like that, which are very, very strong. Lancia, not that good. You can stop the draw 2, but that does not warrant siding in a Lancia to stop a draw 2 after they already have multiple negates up on board. Contact C, they're just going to link it off. Retaliating C, no, I don't think that one's going to be that good here either. Sorry about that, because they literally do not play spells, so how are they going to activate a spell that special summons a card? Ghost Reaper, no, don't play it, but if you are, I would hit the Scarecrow. Token Collector, no, they don't play tokens. Going second, what are some good cards we can play? Anything that like clears the board. Lava Golem, this is one of the matchups where Sphere Mode is very much so going to shine, because at a minimum they should be going for like Appaloosa, Regulus, and Baron, so Sphere Mode very, very good. Lava Golem gonna put in work. Even a Kaiju, if you're just main decking Kaijus because of things like Pirelli and Kashtira, a Kaiju is going to help. Kirikara is going to help. All these cards that just outboards. Dark Ruler No More is going to be very good because they just put up a big monster board, and Performapal 5 Rainbow Magician, essentially Mystic Mind versus them because they will not have spells in their grave. They can use things like Archfiend Eccentric to play around this, to out it, to pop it, and outside of that, like if you Sphere Mode them, remember you don't have a normal summon, and they probably have 2 hand traps in hand. You can hope one is Driver or the Brick and Gamma, but if it's not, they're going to have 2 hand traps that you have to be able to play through those hand traps and break their board and be able to stop the clapback, because once again we know that they end with 5 in hand, so they're going to draw that 6 card, and if they hand trap you once or twice, they'll still have 4 or 5 cards to play, so you're going to have to break the board after Dark Ruling them, play through 1 to 2 hand traps, and set up Disruption to stop them on the following turn. That's where hitting the things like Scareclaw, Big Banky with your engine negates as opposed to hand traps, as like you did turn 1, will come in very big. If you're siding some cards, what cards can we side to go first? I want to put cards in this category that realistically are good in a lot of matchups, so that you can potentially build your side deck off of these videos. We will be doing Pirelli dropping on Monday, and also Mana Dome probably Wednesday or Thursday. And as the new format starts up, we will also be tracking our new tops. It felt kind of redundant to continue tracking the tops of a format that we were 2 months into, because we all know which decks are the best at this point. But with SIAC releasing, we will start up our decks that are topping regionals, YCSs, things like that. Anti-spell Fragrance is going to be very good, but they don't play any spells. They also can't do their pendulum skills because they cannot set them, so you turn off Wayakashi and Big Banky, Eccentric to out other cards. That's going to be very good. D-Barrier, you can call Pendulum, or you can just call Synchro and keep all of that off the board. Summon Limit is going to be insane. I think Summon Limit's a very strong card in the upcoming format. There can be only one. Rivalry goes in like other floodgates. I mean, technically all these cards are truly floodgates, but there can be only one, especially in this matchup, is good if you can play it. However, you know, not every deck can play it. These are just a couple of options, especially Anti-Spell, Summon Limit, and D-Barrier, I think are going to see quite a bit of main or side deck play, so you may see them popping up in these videos as they are good. So again, like, share, subscribe, all that. Come back for the next one if you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below how this could be better, how I can make the experience better for you guys. Thank you for watching. Again, Thunder Dragon playmat's going to be available very soon. Facebook group links down below. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching.